Welcome to the Furry Friends Rock Art Camp! My name is Melia.
And I'm Patti.
And we are so excited to welcome you to camp. One of the things you need is rocks. You cannot have a rock camp without rocks. So we are going to go to a video right now of Patti sharing with you how to find rocks and what shapes to find.
But I do want to say real quick, some of you can't find rocks. And that's okay, because we have a great idea for you if you don't have any rocks anywhere. But first, let's cut over to the rocks, and I'm going to show you exactly what shapes to get. Where do you find the rocks? Do you know where to find rocks? You might already know, but there's lots of places to find rocks, like just right outside your door. Some people live in a place where there's actually a yard in the front or in the back, just property to play on. Well, sometimes there's just rocks out there. In my backyard, I have lots of rocks out there, and I can just go walk around and I can find rocks. And sometimes when you're digging in the dirt, like sometimes you're planting a new plant or a tree or something, and somebody digs up the dirt, well, in the dirt are lots of rocks, and so you can look through those. So right in your own backyard, you might have some rocks. But some people don't have a yard, but they do have a neighborhood. And if you're just walking along in the neighborhood, you'll be amazed at what you find. Just like right there in the street, there'll be a perfect little circle type of rock, or you'll see a little skinny long one that you want to pick up, and you're like, okay, nobody really would have noticed this rock, but it's so cool, and it's going to end up being a bird wing or somebody's arm or a foot or a leg. Lots of uses for it because it's long. Yeah, so sometimes you find big long rocks, and that's like a body of a person, and little long rocks, and that's arms and legs and stuff. Okay, so find long rocks. So we're in the neighborhood, in the street, and that's cool. Sometimes on the sidewalk you'll see them. But interestingly, sometimes when you're looking in people's yards, there'll be amazing rocks, like huge collections of gorgeous, amazing rocks, because they bought those rocks for their landscaping, and they bought them from the river, and they're beautiful and pretty and different, or they bought them from a certain place. Well, they paid for those rocks, so you don't want to take them, because if you take them, it's like stealing. So if somebody has a yard with beautiful rocks, you don't want to take those rocks. But maybe mom or dad or another adult would go with you to go knock on the door and say, hey, I'm doing a rock art project, and I was wondering if I could have 2 or 3 of your beautiful rocks. And they might say, sure. Or they might say, mm-mm. Some people are grouchy like that, and they just don't share. So that's kind of sad, but that's how it goes. They're their rocks, so that's okay. But some people will say, hey, you could have more than 2. Maybe you could have a little baggie of them. And some people would say, will you show me your art when you're done? And maybe you could give them a gift and bring their rocks back to them as a piece of art that looks like something. And that would be like a sweet gift. They got their rocks back, only better. That's the best way to give a gift. So just remember, if you see them in somebody's yard, you have to get permission before you can use them. And if you go alone to the door, that could be dangerous. So don't go by yourself. Make sure you have a big adult with you that says it's okay, and together you could knock on the door and ask for permission. Okay? I've done it myself, and everybody's been super nice to me, but I always take somebody with me, always. Okay, so we've talked about you can find rocks in your backyard and in your neighborhood. Well, have you ever been to a park? Just the local park? Sometimes there's lots of rocks there that you can just kind of look through. Sometimes just in the gravel that they've set up there along the path. Well, if you pick up the gravel, I'll show you. Well, it just looks like junky rocks, right? Wrong, because inside here are triangles and long ovals, just little itty bitty ones. Like, look at this teeny triangle. That's going to be a kitty cat ear. I found it in the gravel. So when you see gravel, then get a scoop and put it in your little baggie. And then at home, you could look through it if you don't have time right there. Or if you have time there and you're just playing, you can just sit there and sort through them all until you find the ones that you like. Like, you just go in there and you'll be looking at your rocks and you say, oh, a treasure, a triangle, or a circle. Wait, here's a really good triangle. Look at this one. Oh, that's going to be a kitty cat ear. I'm putting that in my collection of triangles. So really fun to look through the gravel. Okay, so we've talked about the backyard, the neighborhood, the park. Well, what if you went to like the more rugged parks where there's dirt trails and you can walk on the dirt trails? Ooh, man, There are so many rocks if you can get to the dirt trails. You're walking, and then you have your little baggie with you that's in your pocket, and you will just be amazed as you're walking on the dirt trails. You'll just be like, great rock. Oh, and this is a good one. Oh, look at that awesome one. I love it. Oh, that's really pretty. And pretty soon your bag is gonna be full of rocks. So dirt trails are great. But what if you can go to the mountains or somewhere way out in nature? Whenever you can get away from all the buildings and be out in nature, there's lots of rocks out there. But you have to take, an adult has to take you, to get to those places. Okay, another thing that you should know about is water. When big bodies of water wash over rocks, it makes them smooth. So it's really fun to go rock hunting where there's water, lots of water. So how about rivers or streams or lakes or oceans? Whenever you can find the big water, then you're going to find rocks. Instead of the rocks being all jagged and edgy, the water will have smoothed them out. Like this smooth rock, the water smoothed that out. And this smooth one, the water did that, and it made it so smooth. Sometimes you'll find these smooth rocks in the dirt, and that's because a long, long time ago they were in the water and tumbled, and then the earth came up and all the water went away, and then they became part of the dirt. But a long time ago they were in the water, and that's why they got really smooth. So interesting. So if you can get to the water, then you'll find rocks. So make sure you take your backpack and your little baggies or your bucket, because you're going to find treasures out there by the water. Which leads me to the idea of vacations. Do you ever go on a vacation? Some people do. That means that's when you go away from where you live to another place to explore and see things that are different. Well, if you're so lucky that you get to go on vacation, make sure you look for rocks, because there will be different kinds of rocks than at your house. And that's super fun to collect them. And vacations are so fun, and sometimes it's fun to just bring a rock home from vacation that you loved, and then it's just a reminder of how fun it was that you got to go on vacation. But you can also make rock art with them. So be looking when you're on vacation for your tall rocks, your long rocks, and your circle rocks. Okay? All right, so there are a bunch of places to be looking for rocks. Do you have lots of ideas now? But it's so very interesting that some people can't find any rocks. Can you believe that? I know, that's hard to believe, but it's true. So for people that can't find any rocks anywhere, or maybe they can find rocks, but they just can't find any circles or tall ones, well, if you get stuck like that, you can buy them. Now that's a last resort. I don't really love to buy my rocks. Matter of fact, I never buy my rocks because I can always find them outside somewhere. But if you need to buy your rocks, you can actually buy them. Now, they're easy to find because you can go to any craft store like Hobby Lobby or Michael's, or you can go to like a home supply store like Lowe's or any of those that offer home supplies, because they often have bagged up rocks that you can use. They're kind of expensive, and I don't like to spend money on rocks. I like to have free art supplies, but if you've got a little bit of money and you want to go to the store, you could look for them. For example, I went to Michael's and they had this there at Michael's. It's called River Pebbles. Now, what I don't like about these is they painted them black. Why'd they do that? Maybe it's just pretty that way, but let me show you. See? They painted all of them black, but you can still use them. Like, they're pretty cool because look, right here is, oops, right there, that's a long oval. Let's see, can you see that? Look, it's a long oval. Perfect, right? That could be a bird wing. That's awesome. Or here, let's see, that's a long oval too. That could actually be a person, and we could stick a little one on top of it. So you could go to Hobby Lobby, Michael's, whatever, and buy some rocks. This was like $6. That's a lot of money. So I'd rather go find them because that's all part of the fun, is it's like a treasure hunt. But I also went on Amazon to look for if they had rocks. Let me show you the rocks. Oh my goodness, they had a whole bucket of rocks that I bought. Look at that. That's a bunch of ovals. They're really thick though. I mean, look how thick that thing is, more like a globe. I like flat rocks, but if I had no other rocks, these are pretty good. They're pretty big. And that one's a little thinner. You don't know what you're gonna get, but that's pretty good. But it was $20. That's a lot of money. And I didn't want to spend any money. So I just wanted you to see you could get them on Amazon if you wanted to. Or Home Depot or other places online. They'll send you rocks, but it costs money to ship them, and they, all that. They're heavy. So you could do that. But there's also another place, if you don't want to go to those places, you can go to nurseries or landscaping places or rock yards or country co-ops. All those big places where they do landscaping, they often have these huge, big places on the property there that hold these giant truckloads of rocks. And they separate them by sizes. So they'll have giant truckloads of giant truckloads of big rocks like this, and they'll all be big, and then giant truckloads of little rocks like this. So they've already separated them by grade, is what they call the different sizes, and different types, different colors, and all that. So that's really cool. So you can go there and say, hey, I just need a bucket of rocks. And then you can walk out there to those big giant piles and you can pick out the rocks you want and put them in your bucket, and they sell it by the pound. And then you come over and they weigh it and they say, okay, that's $10 or that's $5 or whatever. And then you can take home the rocks you want. So the rocks are all over the place. You can find them if you got an adult that will help you find them. Or you can just go by yourself outside and look around. But it's not just a one-time thing. You want to look for rocks for the rest of your life. It's so fun. Like everywhere you go, you'll just be like, oh, I love that rock. That's so totally cool. I'm going to keep that one. Or, whoa, Nilly, look at that one. That's going to be a cat's tail or a puppy dog tail. And you just put them in your pocket and they're just everywhere you go. So you get to do this for the rest of your life. And so we're doing rock art camp for a month. So we're doing it for 5 weeks. That means you're going to look for rocks this week, so you'll have some to play with next week. But every time you're outside, look for rocks and keep adding to your collection. You want to see my collection? Oh my gosh, I have a lot of rocks because I've been looking for a long time. And then every time I want to make something, I've got lots of choices, lots to choose from. They are my art supplies from nature. And you can go get your art supplies for free from nature. Now, I went to Home Depot looking for rocks to see what you might be able to get in case you don't have any rocks anywhere. And I had so much fun. So let me show you this video. It was a big rainstorm was starting to happen, and there were really cool rocks too. So check this out. Whoa! Did you hear that lightning? We are having a big storm in the summer, so it's beautiful. The rain just started because the lightning just hit. But we're not afraid of a little bit of rain, right? So these are the rocks that Home Depot has that we could buy. So let's just see what they've got. We want the smaller ones, but check this out. These are really big. We could work with those, but I like working with a little bit smaller rocks. Now over here is a really cool bag. Look at that. Whoa, it's heavy. The black, and the black rocks are really pretty, but they're super heavy. Oh, more lightning. I love lightning, it's so fun. Okay, let's look at the other rocks. Okay, those are too big. These are getting better. So look at that, for $10, you get out this huge bag of rocks, but they're kind of big. And now over here, and oh, look at these down here. Oh, these are fantastic. Look at, there's a little triangle. Wouldn't that be cute with a little head on it? It would be just like like the person who's filming this doesn't want to get wet. Okay, this is a good one. See, in here there's lots of good ones. See, nope. You can just put a little head on it and you have a little kitty or a puppy dog. And we have pebbles. Okay, these are awesome. It says pea pebbles. They're teeny tiny ones, like just little ones, but you'll find triangles in there and they're good for puppy dog ears and cat ears, and those are really fun. And okay, that's all, let's run because it's raining. Now, once you have your rocks, you're going to want to make sure you wash them because rocks are really dirty. They attract lots of mud and dirt and dust, and your hands will get dirty and they'll get dried out. So you want to wash them. And that's easy to do, right? You can just put them in a bucket, get the hose outside and wash them down, let them soak in there, soak in the water and shake it up a little bit. And then you can scrub them and you can have clean rocks. And rocks dry really fast. Just dump them out on the grass or anywhere that you have. And if there's any sunshine, they'll dry lickety-split. Or you can just wait till the next day and come back and they'll be nice and dry for you to work with. Clean and dry rocks are really fun to work with, especially if you're going to use the tack that we like to use. I call it sticky putty. If you're going to use the sticky putty, then you want clean rocks, because the sticky putty that we're going to use to stick the rocks to our board, well, if it gets dirty, it doesn't work very well. So if the rocks are dirty, then this is going to get dirty and that's not going to work so well. So wash your rocks. Okay, thanks for joining us to learn about rock shapes, which ones to look for, and where to find your rocks. Next time, we're going to learn how to make cookie dough into the rock shapes that we need to make the art, because some people don't have rocks. And so for those people, you can make the cookie dough and make the cookies. And then for those of us who have lots of rocks, we can just make the cookies and eat them. We are going to put together our rock box. That's going to be so fun. We'll get a box and get all of our supplies together that we need for next week when we make our first rock art piece, the family. You can stop right here if you want and just go look for rocks and start your collection. But if you want to go with me out into the mountains and into the parks, I'm going to show you a video of me rock hunting and what it looks like to go find the rock shapes you want. Do you want to come? Okay, watch this next video.